Chat's a Calvin Klein model. You should keep the camera
on. Just as we go live, okay. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ambassadorial Wing, and I am your host, the Ambassador, and tonight we will be destroying the rise of Skywalker, or the ruse of Soywalker, or whatever acronym you prefer to call this cinematic abomination. With me tonight are my lovely and handsome panel of guests, Phelan Reactions, Drew Taylor, the Supreme Heretic, and Orange Hat Reviews. And we probably will have a few others bouncing in and out, but for now, well, as the Joker says, and here we go.
And here we go.
Yeah.
That's how you
Well, for those of you who follow me on Twitter and on YouTube, you probably know already that I and my panel have gone to see The Rise of Skywalker, and I went and saw it last night, and oh, JJ. Oh, JJ. You, sir, have ticked off the Ambassador, and that is not a good thing. That is a very, very bad thing. You have ticked off the fandom minutes, and you ticked him off for the last time. You, my man, have lost your ever-loving mind if you think that that piece of tripe that you call a movie is any good. It is a failure. It is an abomination. It is bad. And tonight, we are going to rip it a new one and maybe even rip it several other ones. So, that being said, we'll get to introductions right now. And as always, ladies first.
Hey, I am Fallon Reacts. I do reactions, reviews, sometimes live streams, and pop culture commentary.
I'm Orange Hat Reviews. I do movie news, movie reviews, show reviews, entertainment news, cover the controversial stuff. I don't bullshit. I don't shill. And I absolutely hated this movie. And Solo lost money for science.
Woo! Mr. Taylor.
All right. I am Drew Taylor. I am a staff writer for boundingintocomics.com. Make sure that you check out Bounding Into Comics for your daily dose of movie news, television news, pop culture, anything under the sun. We got you covered at boundingintocomics.com. And my personal YouTube channel is youtube.com/Supreme Heretic. So please feel free to follow me there. And I will most definitely keep you enlightened on all manner of different subjects because I tend to just kind of go like all over the place. So yeah, my channel's a good time. A lot of it is streaming content, but I do plan on actually like making some videos here in the near future because I've definitely got stuff to make videos about. That's for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. We all do.
So there we go. Just another nerd. I'm not sure that I can post links in the chat because I'm not a mod.
I will go, Drew, I will go ahead and make you a wrench.
Okay.
I would like mine made out of solid gold.
Oh, yeah, Dan.
Why not platinum?
You deserve it, Dan.
No, better. Adamantium.
There you
Vibranium.
go. Vibrantium or vibrantium or vibrati. The mix between vibranium and adamantium. There, that one.
Well, I know usually I let the panel go first, but guys, if y'all don't mind, I'm going to kick things off tonight with...
Oh, by all means, Mr. Host, you go first.
Well, show off that boot, man.
Oh, the boot? Oh, I don't have a boot. I have a star. I have a Death Star and everything, or a Star Destroyer to shove up Mr. Abrams' backside.
Well, we are all sitting here with.
I think we all have Super Star Destroyers that we want to do it.
We're all sitting here with our drinks in hand, eagerly awaiting.
I'm the only one who doesn't have a drink, but that's okay. Anyway, what did I think of The Rise of Skywalker? Well, to put it short, it sucked. To put it the long ways, it's going to take a few minutes, so bear with me. So last night, me and the missus and a couple of our friends from college, we all went out to see this mess, and we all pretty much knew what we were getting into and everything when we went to see this mess. But about halfway through, the missus leaned over next to me and she's like, "Oh, honey, I didn't know it was going to be this bad." I was like, "Yeah, it's going to be this bad." It's actually worse. I had a freaking headache through the whole movie. I got up partway through and everything when they were on, I guess it was Kajimi or whatever, when they were trying to, no, it was Basana, when they were trying to get past the snake lizard or whatever you want to call it. And I came back and I was like, "Honey, did I miss anything?" She's like, "No." But from the first scene, I knew this movie was broken. Because even though I knew Palpatine was going to be in this thing, I was like, what the hell? This is not Palpatine. This is a bad comic book villain, Palpatine. And I'm just like, this is just, Abrams, you have completely undone everything Lucas did 40 some odd years ago in Return of the Jedi. The Palpatine had a perfect and satisfying death. He had a perfect story arc from the beginning of Phantom Menace going all the way through the last Return of the Jedi, and you just completely wrecked it. And I know that they have resurrected him in the EU, but that's a different type of canon in and of itself. We're talking about the cinematic canon. And in cinematic canon, you kill off a villain, you give him a satisfying death, and you just leave him alone. And I cannot honestly believe that this idiot, this hack, this moron, J.J. Abrams, brought back Palpatine because Kylo Ren wasn't threatening enough of a villain. Well, guess what? The reason he wasn't threatening of a villain is because of your stupid ass and Rian freaking Johnson. And even the fact that they were throwing shade at Johnson throughout the movie did not help. I was just like, okay, yeah, you're throwing shade at Johnson. Whoop-de-freaking-do. I don't care. You could have just done any number of things with this movie, and it would have been at least halfway passable, but you had to bring Palpatine back. And I wasn't even excited when they had Ian McDiarmid at Star Wars Celebration or D23 or whatever freaking thing was on there, and I was just like, seriously? You're bringing back Palpatine? Why? He's dead. How? And they don't even explain how in the hell he survived his pale, pasty butt getting thrown down that shaft, much less the freaking second Death Star going critical and blowing the hell up. They were just like, he's just alive, don't ask questions. And I'm like, I hate you, J.J. Abrams. I hate your pasty face. I hate your stupid hair. I hate your brain and the idiotic ideas it comes up with. You have to be the worst freaking director I have ever seen in my life. And I've been alive 40 years. I've seen some stinkers of some movies, but this one takes the bloody cake. And I was just like, this movie from the moment go was broken. The crawl made no sense. The dead speak? The dead speak? What the hell does that mean, the dead speak? The dead don't speak. The dead are dead. Okay, I need a minute. Y'all carry on.
Ladies first.
Give your thoughts. I need a minute.
I can understand why you're feeling like that. Though I do have one comment too. I have to say, because you said The Rise of Skywalker is the worst. Last Jedi was the worst.
Oh, I'm not going to disagree with that. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was, but this was the cherry on the crap sundae.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna be the only one saying this, but I actually enjoyed the movie. But I've had to put my mind in a state where, okay, this is the Disney trilogy, and I don't consider it connected to the prequels, to the original trilogy, because there is so much. It conflicts with the canon I've grown up with, and no. One of the major issues I found were certain things was like, I guess you could say Han Solo said it best. The Force doesn't work that way. See if Pastor's still there laughing. But yeah, there were certain stuff in the movie that because I know there are some people that still haven't seen it, so I don't want to completely spoil it. But yeah, I the first half of the movie I thought was good. I was laughing, and then the last half kind of petered out. And then the ending made no sense. Since it's already out there that Solo died. I think there was no reason to do it, and I feel I agreed that the beginning was very wonky, and it kind of made it uncomfortable. It's like, wait, are we missing parts? Is this not complete? I was very confused about it. And I'm really hoping the theory that this is not the film that Abrams and wanted to put out. This is the Iger cut. Because I know there were rumors forever ago about all the different cuts. Apparently, there's supposedly an Iger cut and a Abrams Lucas cut. So I'm kind of hoping that's true. But yeah, y'all can go off on it. But yeah, I mostly enjoyed this. It was a decent movie. I know that a lot of people are disagreeing with me right now, so.
But Phelan, that's okay, because like I said before we started, this is not an echo chamber. If you have a dissenting opinion, that is your right, and you are entitled to your opinion. So, anyway, I think Jeff
hate
Beeks.
Raylo.
I think everybody hates Raylo. Raylo is detestable. Raylo is garbage. Raylo sucks.
Well, the Raylo fans don't think it sucks, but.
Well,
yeah, they freaking had a ball.
I saw a lot of Raylo fans getting really angry about the ending. They're like,
Yeah,
what
I saw-
the heck?
When the Raylo kiss happened, there was one person, I saw it from Mecca's channel. One person screams out, "We won!" And it's like, no, you didn't. Because in about 5 seconds, you're going to realize why. But yeah, might turn on to shitting on this movie. Well, how much time do we got?
That
as
video,
much as you need, sir. But just remember, I do want
Drew to have a turn, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got lots more to say, but I want to give everybody else a chance.
First things first. This movie, I will say this. It was entertaining as a turn your brain off movie, which is not good, and here's why. Star Wars isn't a turn your brain off franchise. You do not turn your brain off to enjoy this movie. You have to be able to enjoy the lore and enjoy all of the aspects to it. This movie does not provide that. Also, Raylo, you suck. 3. Palpatine. Yes, Palpatine was killed in Return of the Jedi, and he should have stayed dead because there's no way that whole excuse of the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many possibilities, yada, yada, yada. That doesn't fly here. It does not allow you to reconstitute yourself atom by freaking atom. It doesn't allow that. That's not how the Force works, as Han Solo says.
Yeah, he said it perfectly.
Also, the only good thing that I liked about Palpatine was when they reconstituted him after he did his little Force sucking thing to.
And what the hell was that? Oh, go on.
That's Force drain. That's actually EU
That is
canon.
a thing.
Force Straight is actually
Yeah,
EU
they used it
canon.
in like
It's a
KOTOR.
they did.
Yes, they did.
They
That was
said
the
so terrible.
But here's another thing. This is one thing that really, besides the Raylo thing, when they robbed Endgame, which also was a bad movie, but still the line that they drop, "I am all the Sith and I am all the Jedi." It's like, you seriously just fucking robbed that from the whatchamacallit brothers, the Russos? Yeah. I am inevitable and I am Iron Man. Yeah, you fucking thieves. But here's the thing.
That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning
Supercharged. Yeah, Palpatine, when he wasn't supercharged in episode 3, is firing his Force Lightning at Mace Windu. Mace Windu, Jedi Master, trained and very powerful, is holding that shit at bay with both of his hands on his lightsaber. Supercharged, big-ass Palpatine. He likes big butts and he cannot lie. And it's firing full strength. It's firing full strength. I mean, this dude was firing Force Lightning that was flying a fleet. And then when he brings it to Rey, she's holding it back with one fucking hand on her lightsaber. Bullshit. I'm sorry, but no. That would have at least been pushing her backward. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
That dude was in the EU, was able to fire Force Lightning that could disintegrate a person, which actually did in this. But still, he could do it without being juiced up on Rayroids and Benroids. But God, man, when they did that kiss, I'm like, oh, fucking come on. I said that in the middle of a theater. Sorry for the F word. But a person leans over. A person turns around and a person turns around in front of me in the theater and is like, "Shh," and I'm like, "Shut up." I looked at them like they were like the dumbest person on earth, and I'm like, "Shut up." And oh my god, when she dropped that, or I'm Ray who? Ray Skywalker, and it's like, oh, if I had a frickin' whiskey bottle, I'd be throwing it at the screen. And then I would apologize to the theater owner because I go to that theater all the time for my content. But yeah, I would have completely lost my shit if I had a bottle in my hand when she dropped that. It's like, you are not worthy of that title.
No kidding.
Oh my god, I could also. Now, every one of us has seen Clone Wars, Rebels, and whatnot. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I've seen.
We know who Ahsoka Tano is. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When did she die?
Off screen. Off screen.
We do not know when she died. So apparently, spoiler alert to everybody, she dies. Or she's been dead apparently, because she's now speaking as a disembodied voice through the Force with every other frickin' Jedi that's saying, "You are the one to do it all." It's like, no, she's really not. I mean, that whole be with me stuff, it's like, what the hell is be with me? And then when she starts saying it again, I this is where the Jedi basically pity this bitch for. It's basically, all right, we'll fucking be with you. Just kill him already. We'll give you a little bit of our strength. Now, go. Just kill her. Or kill your grandfather and be done with it. But at least own up to your freaking name, woman. You are not a Skywalker. You are a Palpatine. And this is the rub. And they call this the Skywalker Saga. Yes? It is no longer
and that
the
is
Skywalker
the thing.
Saga.
This is not the Skywalker
It is the
Saga.
Palpatine Saga.
Yeah.
If they want to connect all 9 of these movies, it is now the Palpatine Saga. And Palpatine, a character that was not even in episode 4, is, well, he's now the main character of all 9 movies. Congratulations, J.J. Abrams. You literally fucked the universe in a very non-consensual way.
Just one thing real quick. Adega actually, in one of the final episodes of Rebels, Ezra Bridger goes through the World Between Worlds portal and saves her from Vader killing her there in the duel. So actually, she was alive at the end of Rebels.
Yes, she was. She was Ahsoka the Grey.
Yeah.
Yes,
He
he
was
was.
basically the Star Wars
He
version
was.
of Gandalf.
Yep. More
It's
or
like,
less.
come with me. We're going to look for that Jedi guy.
Ezra.
Why didn't they have Ezra in this disembodied voice shit? I mean,
I think they may have. I could be wrong, but I could have swore they did.
There was one voice I didn't recognize in that whole thing. There was one voice I didn't recognize, but I don't know who.
Well,
it could have been.
apparently,
Ayla Secura was in it. Bunch
Who?
of Ayla Secura, Shakti, Luminara and Julie.
I didn't hear any of their voices.
No, they were in there, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Oh man.
They're in the credits.
Well, I didn't stick around for the credits. I left before.
No, exactly.
I didn't even watch the credits either. It's like, fuck this shit. If I have to stay in here, I'm going to stab every person in here.
All right, Danny, you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Take it away, Drew. Please take away my pain.
No. Well, all right. So my story from the theater I went to, I went, and mind you, I went on the 19th, so I went the day before it actually opened up. So what happened was, you know,
I'm sorry, I had to.
All right. Orange, are you
I'm
done?
sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, Drew, keep
He's
going.
down.
Keep going.
oh God, Dan. Oh my gosh. What am I gonna do with you, dude?
Go ahead, Drew. You were saying.
So yeah, the theater that I went and saw it in was probably a small 60, 70 seat community theater, and there was like maybe 40 people there. And mind you, this should have been for a Star Wars movie full, but that was definitely not. So there was maybe 40 people there, and then on top of it, we get to be I would say around the 41-minute, 42-minute mark, and then there was a middle-aged couple that actually got up and walked out. So I had a walkout at the theater I was at.
The theater I was in, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But thankfully, I can say the saving grace was I only paid $4 to see the movie. Thankfully, because at least at that theater, it's just general admission, so I only paid $4, and I feel like I overpaid with that. But my impressions of the movie were this, and it makes sense now because I was. Stephen Walton shared with me earlier today, like he had a source that clearly showed that there was definitely a different vision for this movie that JJ wanted to do, and that's why I am not going to be as hard on JJ as some other people, because he was actually at first trying to work together with Lucas to put this out. And what happened was, they went ahead and the Disney Story Group stepped in and overrode a lot of the stuff that he wanted to do. They completely disregarded the concepts that Lucas and he had agreed on, and they basically left him with bare bones. Whereas Rian Johnson, they gave him any resources that he wanted. But when JJ stepped in to do this movie, and he had this worked out with Lucas, no, they trashed the stuff that Lucas had given him to work off of and everything else, and JJ was left with pretty much, well, what the hell do I do now? So, it sort of, when you look at as many reshoots as they had and everything else, and the way that this movie was just edited, you can tell there were so many things cut out of it because it was so incoherent. There were so many things that were, I guess, left to ponder off screen, which is very odd because even for J.J. Abrams, there's normally not that many things where, you know, it's left to thinking about it off screen, especially like major, what should have been major plot points, which is why I'm convinced that they just haphazardly edited this movie in to put it in time constraints. Because I think originally, with minimal editing, it was something like 3.5, 4.5 hours, something like that. But
That doesn't surprise me.
But I don't understand why, if it had a more coherent story, why leave it on the cutting room floor? Why not do it just like, you know, like a two-parter episode? A lot of people would have been okay with that if had the story been better. But the ultimate problem that the movie had was, again, you know, completely invalidating the first 6. Which I don't think necessarily Abrams was on board with, because he had hashed out how to do this movie with Lucas in the first place. I think that was a direct thing, you know, that Disney stepped in and overrode him. And you know, it sucks because what could have been? I mean, there's so many missed opportunities in this entire trilogy, and that in this movie, it's just no coherent narrative. Everything's disjointed, and then just like, I mean, there's just some cringy moments. I think for the limited script, or just maybe not even the script, just the way that it was edited, the actors did well, I thought.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it was a shame that they didn't get a chance to shine. And it also bothered me with the way like they did roast Tico and things like that. There was a lot of, you know, a lot of things left unresolved too, because in the end, nobody knows in this movie. You still have the original problem of the First Order. The First Order never got defeated. I mean, sure, Kylo's gone, but the First Order technically never got defeated. They may have defeated the Final Order, but hey, hello, there's a whole fleet of ships and a whole bunch of a-holes still out there.
Oh, hang on. But supposedly they destroyed most of the First Order in The Last Jedi. So technically, the First Order is completely gone now, and that's why they were so desperate. That's why they were so desperate to link up with Sidious and his bunch.
Yeah.
So technically, the First Order and the Final Order, everybody's dead now, so it's all good. And Rey can go off and do whatever she wants because she's Rey Skywalker now, and she's got Luke's. Well, technically, I guess it would be technically Luke's home and everything because he inherited from his aunt and uncle. And
the Rey, by the way, the Reylo kiss was cringy. It reminded me of like a weird emo. It reminded me of a weird emo couple. No, check this out. It reminded me of a weird emo couple and sitting in the corner at a Cure concert. I mean, you know, I mean, come on. So yeah, I have a serious issue with this movie. Although, like what Fallon said, I would still take this movie over TLJ. TLJ was garbage. TLJ is what killed the franchise.
Here's my thing. Another problem that I had. Everybody knows that Finn was so freaking smitten with Rey in Force Awakens, right?
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
She actually felt feelings for Finn in The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
that's why she was
end of that trash compactor known as The Last Jedi. You got Poe kind of getting a little sweet on Rey at the end. Hi, I'm Finn, or I'm Poe. I'm Rey. I know. And it's like, dude, no, don't even. That's just, no. And then you basically got this weird guys having a pissing contest over who's going to get Rey's affection. Guys, she's into the dude that swings a lightsaber between his legs. Sadly, because I wouldn't have minded if she actually got with Finn, because, well, Finn and her had that dynamic. Also, Finn and Poe were basically at each other's throats. You had that weird walking abortion that was what's his name that fixed the wiring in back of 3PO's head to get him a Sith translator.
Danny,
Babu Frick. Babu Frick.
please tell me what that was, because oh my god, that thing looked.
I think I just did. It was a walking abortion.
It was Babu.
That's
The
horrible.
character's name was Babu Frick.
Yeah,
There you go.
Babu. I'm not going to say that name.
Babu Frick.
Baba
Say it
Yaga.
with me.
I'll just say Baba Yaga. There you go.
No, Baba
Baba
Yaga's
Yaga
from John
there.
Wick.
That freaking
No,
Baba
Baba
Yaga.
Yaga is
Wick.
from. And
Bob-
John Wick is
Babu
a bear
freaking
movie.
Yaga. There you go. Babu freaking Yaga.
No,
Babu Frick, fine. But anyway,
Oh,
no, was
Lord.
that so hard?
yes, it was actually very much. Thank you.
Oh,
But
Yoda.
that thing, C-3PO, my friend Anthony Daniels, even though I don't know you personally, you're an asshole too.
He kind of is.
Yeah, he is. But taking one final looks at what? At my friends. Freaking dude,
Bull
seriously.
crap.
You just said that those three were your freaking friends. One of those three suggested you get your freaking life taken away from you. One of those three, that same idiot, was treating you like shit all the way through the movie. And still treated you like shit when you hadn't even met him again for the second time.
Yeah.
You're calling them friends. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, you know, there's the theory, and I think there's an edit somewhere where somebody did an edit and everything where he's looking back in his memory banks at Han, Luke, Leia, and Chewie and R2, and that's who he's actually looking at.
Yeah, that's probably
And
what
he's not talking about them.
Yeah, thank God.
I'd be happier with that.
That would have been. I mean, here's what I would have done if as the masterful cutter or person who thinks of awesome cuts. I'm not good at cutting things online. I'm just not. Here's what I would have done. I would have shown through C-3PO's receptors all the people who he was seeing, and then I would have cut them out of it and shown Ray, Finn, and Poe. Friends not shown. Friends not shown. Friends not shown. Just continuing to scroll, and it's like, and then I would have had C-3PO kind of go, oh, let's get this over with. And there you go. That's what I would have done. But, oh my gosh. Who was that female Jango Fett chick that kind of...
Oh, Zori Bliss, played by Kerry Russell.
Why does that name sound familiar?
Kerry Russell, she was in...
Felicity.
Yeah. And she's done some other movies.
Yeah.
I'll have to check her out. Well, I'll have to check her or check out her... Well, I wouldn't mind checking her out, but anyway.
She's not a bad actress.
I'll have to check out her filmography.
Her IMDb. Yeah, she's done.
Yeah.
She has done some decent movies, I think. I just can't think of it.
Yeah, I think she does. I just can't think of any off the top of my head right now because I'm in such a depressed state over that weird thing that they called Star Wars. Anyway, it's like this the one thing that kind of really confused the fudge out of me, almost literally in the theater at the time, was when they dropped this whole "we are a dyad" in the Force. It's like, what you're both gonna die?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
now,
you're both.
You know,
Horrible.
hey, Orange Hat.
Yeah.
You know, Danny, what that made me think of? Like, he kept saying that, and all I could hear was in Halo to say, like he said, "Oh, I'm a didact." I thought he was talking about the didact from Halo. I'm like, what?
But yeah, then frickin' Palpatine talks about a dyad. It's like, dude, this has never been discussed in the 8 previous movies. Shut up. Don't give them any more legitimacy. Bad Palpatine.
Yeah, bad Palpatine. He gets whacked over the hand with a ruler.
Exactly. It's like, dude, shut up and stop legitimizing that
spray
shit.
a cat or dog with and spray him with it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like, dude, get a freaking spray bottle and somebody spray that bastard with acid. God damn, he's an idiot.
His face already looked like they had sprayed him with acid.
Well, yeah, especially when,
Dude,
at first he just looked like Night of the Living Dead, but then
he was
Star Wars, Night of the Living Dead edition.
He had 3 stages. He went from zombie palps to colostomy bag palps to just Hey, look, I'm back to being Grandpa Palps.
Yeah, I know,
Well,
right?
he was
I mean,
Grandpa
Papa
Palpatine.
He looked good in the black and red robes when he was
And
super
where the
huge.
hell did those? How the hell are those black and red robes? Because he was just in a regular black robe. What the hell happened? He gets rejuvenated. His clothes gets rejuvenated too.
Hey,
that makes no freaking sense.
You know what, Ambassador? You missed the part where he looked over at stage left and he said, "Wardrobe."
Exactly.
Oh, no,
Oh, exactly.
I have been. This is what I equate this episode of Star Wars 2. I'm calling it Alias in Space because J.J. Abrams worked on Alias.
Oh, here's another thing.
This is not Star Wars. This is Alias in Space because it's all one giant big MacGuffin chase with Palpatine at the beginning and Palpatine at the end. Just like an episode of Alias, you got the villain at the beginning revealing himself, you got the villain at the end getting killed.
Yeah, here's another thing. Hux. He's suddenly a spy.
You mean Schmucks?
Yeah, Schmucks. He's suddenly a spy, right? That is an electronical clip. Yeah, it is. He's a spy, so you're telling me that You're telling me that
he's a spy is he wants to defeat Kylo Ren. He doesn't care if they win.
Exactly, but here's the thing: they set him up as a spy, and you're telling me that a spy was willing to wipe out 5 planets and basically yell and scream like a little Nazi and whatnot. I mean, dude, you're not a spy. You're a spiteful little bitch.
He didn't turn spy until in between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Up until that point, he was completely loyal to the First Order. Technically, he still was. He just wanted Kylo Ren out of the way because he didn't like him.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing here's one part that I actually did cheer for was when Admiral Pride, I think his name is.
Yeah, General Pride
or whatever.
It might have been Admiral.
Douchebag Pride. Anyway, that's his name. Moff Pride. Whatever.
No, don't insult the Moffs. The Moffs are actually cool.
Yeah, good point. General Pride. He's like, "Sir, your gun. Let whoever know that we've found the spy." And it's like, I wish they could have done that in the second movie. I mean, Kylo was tossing him around like a little bitch and choking him too and whatnot. That was good. But my gosh, you actually saw the one thing that was actually funny in The Last Jedi, even though that was a terrible movie. The one funny thing in it was Hux was ready to kill Kylo at that moment.
Yes,
he was pulling his blaster. He was getting, and then he freaking wakes up. He's like, "Oh shit, put it away." Yeah, that didn't happen. We're not going to talk about that. Nobody freaking say anything. Oh wait, you're all dead, so you won't. Good. Yeah. What happened here? But oh my gosh, the fact that they killed that bastard, it's like
to betray Kylo, Ben, whatever you want to call him right now. I expected the betrayal.
Yeah, I did too.
And I was like, oh, something's going to happen, a coup or something.
Mm-hmm.
There was one thing I truly did like in this movie. One thing that I'm willing to bet even Mark Hamill liked doing in this movie. And that was when he caught the lightsaber when Rey was throwing it in the fire. Remember, you don't win by killing what you hate. Oh, don't even.
Watch the enemy destroy your base.
Yeah. Anyway, when Luke caught the lightsaber walking out of the fire, he's like, a Jedi should never discard their weapon or whatever. I am willing to bet.
The exact line is, a Jedi weapon should be treated with more respect. And I'm like, who the hell are you?
Exactly. But
Skywalker, I'm willing to, that is not.
I'm willing to bet he was waiting freaking years to say that line.
He might have been.
Oh my God, dude. He was waiting years to say a line that he had read during the final draft of the script. It's like, oh wow, dude. I am so happy that you finally are able to be the Luke Skywalker you wanted to be and not Jake Skywalker. because everybody knows how much he
Okay.
hates The Last Jedi.
You mean the fact
Here-
that they cucked Luke in episode 8? Yeah, they totally cucked him.
Here is something that really cheesed me the hell off. And I heard about when I saw the shot at the beginning of Rise of Skywalker last night, I was like, "You son of a bitch!" The part where they swipe whatever transition to another planet, and you see Rey floating in the middle of the forest with rocks flowing around her. That's what the hell how we were supposed to see Luke the first time in the Force Awakens.
Yes.
That Joker changed. It was his idea, but all he did was he changed the character that was doing it. That was supposed to be Luke. That was how we were supposed to see Luke, floating, all majestic and awesome, one with the Force, Grandmaster Luke. It was just rocks. Who cares? It's still cool.
Yeah.
And I'm
Exactly.
like, you giant, smelling, stinking pile of hut dung.
Well, I think in the end, I think Abrams felt battered, beaten down. I think the story group pretty much had a lot to do with this.
And they very well may have.
And the thing is the fact that I think all he had left at this point was to just say, the hell with it. We're going to throw out what we have and live or die on that. And I think the only satisfaction he got out of it is he wanted to get the FU to Abrams, and that was the FU
Johnson.
to Johnson. Yeah. And that was that. And, that there wasn't anything that he could really do with it because they threw out most of what was originally supposed to be the concept for this movie, and it goes to show you, because if the Disney story group's like that, and it's all about Kathleen Kennedy and the story group, then it's just a flaming wreckage, burning, just falling down into the sea. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's true. Just another nerd. That is true.
And I'm glad about that. Just another nerd. That's great.
Yeah.
I do want to say really quickly, guys, make sure that you're clicking those shiny links I drop in the chat here and there. Support Dan here, aka Orange Hat Reviews, one of my best buddies, and please support the lovely Fallon Reacts and sub to her channel because she has great content. So
yes, she does. I will fully attest to that happily. I give her my full endorsement as the ambassador.
Yeah,
I give her my ambassadorial seal of approval.
And make sure that you support the ambassador, because I'll tell you what, he's a great guy.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, smash that like button. Press that like button. Do all the things that the Phantom Menace says to do to that like button.
Hey, I'm hoping, Ambassador, I'm doing a good job pulling double duty on the fly for you here.
You are. And Shai didn't want to be here tonight because she hasn't seen The Rise of Skywalker yet, and she doesn't want any spoilers. Okay. So that's why she's not here.
If you guys don't hit the like button, I will find you.
Okay, that was more like the girl from Blair Witch than something like menacing.
I know.
I will say this. I will say this. There were a couple of things that I actually did like out of this steaming pile that did not really upset me. I did like the design of the interior inside the Sith Temple on Exegol. I liked all the statuary. Yeah. That was actually really cool. I liked that.
I thought.
Hey, Rev Kev.
Yeah.
Hey, Rev. Do you want to come in?
Yeah. Yeah, Ambassador. I thought Exegol was a really cool planet to be honest.
Well, what little you see of it, you don't see much.
I
Yeah.
wish
I
we,
mean,
I
yeah.
wish we could have saw more, because it
Another
was a really neat place.
I do have another question on that whole regard. Palpatine in the beginning of this movie was in a weakened state, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Sort of.
Mhm.
How the ever-loving fudge does he raise 5,000 ships out of the freaking ground?
Mm.
Well,
We're not supposed to ask questions.
I'm
Um,
asking.
I have a comment to that because I think it's something Star Wars theory, because I'd been watching his review earlier. He said that Palpatine seemed too overpowered.
Hmm.
Despite
Oh, he was.
everybody
he was
seemed
in.
overpowered.
My boy, I created Snoke. And then you see all those freaking heads of Snoke and those little baby bodies of Snoke, and it's like, I'm suddenly reminded of a deleted scene from Machete Kills. And it wasn't a pleasant deleted scene either.
yeah, there you go. There you go, Orange Hat. I'll send you some little Snoke parts for Christmas.
Oh, ew.
Exactly. That's where it was going, dude. Seriously, it's like I'm waiting to see. It's just not nice to do that to Snoke. I mean, the only cool thing Snoke did, besides screw around with Rey by flicking a lightsaber at her head and everything, was bouncing force lightning off the frickin' floor to smack Ben like a bitch. That was the only cool thing he did. And it's like, okay, yeah. And then he came across as powerful. Don't get me wrong. Snoke came across as very powerful. This dude was frickin' not even doing much gesturing to use the Force. I mean, flick a finger, make her fly around and stuff. She's trying to use the Force to grab him. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to turn that on you and bring it right back. So shut up with that.
You're thinking, well, everybody was overpowered in this movie. But I mean, Palpatine.
Snoke was supposed to be this bad guy, or was supposed to be the bad guy in this movie, but well, we all know what happened.
Yeah, he got the lightsaber shaft.
He got the Ryan Johnson treatment. And I can tell you right now, Snoke is currently in his trailer, curled up in a fetal position in his shower, whining because of what Ryan Johnson did to him.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's why Interpol is looking for Ryan Johnson right now.
Well, amongst other reasons.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm not much of a comedian, but I'm glad I'm getting a lot of laughs for these.
They need to really. I don't know at this point, honestly, what they can do to recover, because like the worst thing you can have. I mean, this goes for like in any fan base. This goes for sports. This goes for entertainment. Anything. The worst thing that you can have is to drive a fan base to apathy, and I think that's what you have here. Because Star Wars fans are now driven to the point of apathy, where they've thrown up their hands and said, you know what, I really don't care if I ever see another thing that says Star Wars on it in my life.
I don't. And
that is a very bad place to have your fans at. Because that's when you lose them. And I'm hoping that, we can hold on to, I don't know, anything that we have left. Maybe some of the things personally in the expanded universe that we like. Maybe we can, go somewhere with the Mandalorian. But
we lost Revan. By the way, we lost Revan. They made him canon, apparently.
Yeah, he's canon as a Legion of Sith Troopers. They use his name, but technically,
but.
He wasn't in the...
Yes, that's it. But here's the thing. By using his name, you're suggesting that he existed within the realm of Disney canon. So you know that they're going to have to expand on his lore, and they're going to do it in such a way that basically, I can't say that word on a live stream on YouTube, so I'm not going to. They're going to Bow chicka pow pow on Revan's lore.
If they deviate
Mhm.
if they deviate from KOTOR and SWOTOR, dude, yeah, I mean,
You know that there's going to be a lot of Revan fans out there that will not like it
Danny,
if they do
yeah.
that.
Hell, I don't.
You know I'm wrong. You know I'm one of them, Danny.
Exactly.
I don't want
But
to
here-
see that happen.
But as for you mentioning some of the things that they could do, did you know, or did you guys hear who is now a part of the fandom menace, so to speak?
No, Mike.
No.
Is it our favorite journalist who can?
Mike Zero.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro.
Yep. He
Yes!
did hashtag fandom menace.
Yep. He dropped the hashtag, and it's like, holy fudge. Well, technically the Daily Wire did, but
Hey, I don't
he
care.
owns the Daily Wire, so
Yeah, it's his baby.
we could. It's not
Well,
just him then. If it was,
Yeah,
if
it's
it was
Mike
the Daily Wire
Knowles,
page,
it's Andrew
it was
Clavin, it's
all
the
of them,
whole shooting
basically.
match.
Emily
I'm
Zanatti, freaking
I'm cool with
Amanda
that.
Preshtikamo,
I
Ryan
I'm cool. I'm cool with
Saavedra,
that.
all
You
of
know,
them.
it's kind
So
of funny.
yeah.
I've never actually considered myself fandom menace.
Oh, you're fandom. You're fandom. If you can acknowledge,
Yeah.
if you like,
Welcome.
if you have a difference of opinion, and you can, and if you agree to disagree, and if you don't like identity politics in movies, you're fandom menace.
Yeah,
You know,
essentially.
If you
But I
want to hang Kathleen Kennedy upside down by her toenails, then you're Phantom Menace.
oh yeah,
Oh no, I just want her to be fired.
that too.
You're Phantom.
Yeah, basically just
Yeah.
get rid of that woman. I mean, yeah,
Make her
I
go.
had
Make her go far, far away and never come back. I can't believe I'm gonna quote this, but exile her to Jeff Epstein's island and let her never return.
Oh God!
That is
That's dark.
bad.
That's dark, but hey,
super
I could have
dark.
come up with I've come up with ideas far worse. Here's the thing. I was
Okay.
How many of you have seen the movie
Exile her
Smoking
to
Aces?
the Bermuda Triangle.
How many people have seen the movie Smoking Aces?
I think I've heard of it, but I've never actually seen it.
That a long time ago, Dan.
Well, there was one scene where a guy who is going to be one of those assassins to kill the dude hangs a guy naked upside down and just takes a blowtorch to that dude's crotch.
Oh,
Oof.
I mean,
Ouch.
I am of the amount of disrespect that Kathleen Kennedy has shown towards George Lucas, and the amount of disrespect she has allowed Lucasfilm employees to shell out at us, the fans. The amount of actions that she has, or the amount of lies she has told, she is kind of making me wish that I could hang her upside down, not by her ankles, but by some other place. Let's just leave it at that, and just let gravity do the work.
ow.
Oof.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Jeff B's got a better one. That is a fake.
Jeff B, I'm going to expand on that. Make sure
Lord.
that the toilets she cleans, make sure that the people who used them had diarrhea.
I've worked in EBS.
Oh, and do not give her
so
a
I know
mask.
that is horrible.
Do not give her a mask.
That
Do
is
not give her a
horrible to
mask
do.
either.
That's cruel and unusual.
One better.
No, it isn't.
Don't let her have better
Prove
yet.
it.
Don't let her have gloves.
Hi, stories by
Drew?
Irish.
Oh, stories. How you doing?
Hey, stories. Glad
yeah.
you're here. Okay.
Did Rosetta
Okay,
end her stream?
Let's
Stories?
see here.
Mouth-
The other thing, I know we've gone off on a big tangent here, but that's okay. I think the other thing that I did not hate about Rise of Skywalker was actually the design of the TIE Interceptor that Kylo Ren used.
Oh, dude, that was sweet. That was
Yeah, that
wish-
was like
But-
red and black lumberjack interceptor, man.
dude. Ray jacked his ship. I was so pissed. I'm like, God, man, she jacked his ride.
I
Sorry,
want to know
Drew.
what the Jawas have the Like,
Oh my
Oh,
god, that's great. Oh man,
Thank you, nerd. That is excellent.
you know,
Thank you,
Ambassador,
Thank you.
you need the freaking stream deck, dude, so we can have the Benny Hill music on cue. Oh god.
I'll send you, nerd. I'm going to send you a link here in just a second, Hoss. If you want to come on, if you don't, it's okay.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, man.
see,
That would be awesome.
now, Ambassador, you gotta buy yourself a stream deck just so we have that. Oh, that's great.
I mean, here's the thing, guys. Kathleen Kennedy, put in the Mandalorian, where they should actually do a goddamn thing. They already got the meme with Carl Weathers saying that he wants Ivan Drago, the Predator, and somebody else to bring him in, all three of them cold and whatnot. How about he does the same thing with the bounty pucks, but Kathleen Kennedy, Ryan Johnson, J.J. Abrams. I want all three of them brought in cold.
Nice.
Okay, nerd, awesome.
And I was just gonna say, since we're off on a tangent, Fallon, I should send you links to weird music videos to have you react to those.
You mean the Bloodhound Gang Discovery Channel?
No.
Oh my gosh, I was in high school when that came
The
out. That was probably
unrated edition of it,
Yes.
No. Dude.
where they were just where they where they had a lot of fun with the chocolate brownie cake.
Hey, Dan, this is for you. I don't think she can do that on YouTube. Yeah, I don't think she could react to that on YouTube, Dan.
I probably get in trouble.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
okay,
good point.
I'm just gonna this is something else I want to talk about. One thing that has always been beautiful and wonderful about Star Wars has been the music.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought the music was done well.
Yes.
I don't even remember the music. I don't remember one note. I don't remember one piece that was actually memorable. Nothing.
There was some
Because they were recycling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I had heard. is that
When-
They
were
had a
replacing-
kind of remix of the Imperial March in there because I was
Yeah.
trying to hum
Yeah.
to it,
Oh.
but it kept going off on different notes. I was like, wait, what?
Ambassador, I want to get your thoughts about one thing now.
Sure.
The scene between Han and Kylo. What did you think about that?
Tearjerker.
Drunk 3PO is in my. This is the
Oh
greatest
my
moment
God.
of my life,
Hey, 3PO, what's up? buddy?
What's up, man?
dude.
Oh, wow.
How you doing, drunk?
I quote Wayne Campbell and Garth Algar. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I am
Ambassador,
still
you made it.
drunk. Good.
It's good to see you, Jay.
You, sir.
Good to see you, drunk.
Drunk. Would you like to come on my stream for a few minutes? I will send you a link.
But yeah, Ambassador, I wondered what your thoughts were about the Han and Kylo. Actually, all the panel. We can go around.
Tearjerker, like I said, tearjerker.
I
That
felt
one,
nothing.
that was beautifully done.
I honestly felt nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually a theory on what it was, and it had nothing to do with the Force. It was his guilt over killing him, and he was needing guidance in that moment. So his mind tried to deal with it the best way it could. He relived that moment, except this time he didn't kill him.
Yeah, I think
Basically,
I think it was a memory, like you said, Fallon. But I also, I thought the sequence was well done. It was pretty cool to kind of see it work out that way. But again, in the end of everything, when he, when Kylo gets his redemption and he goes back to being Ben, what a waste. I would have liked to have seen,
Drunk. That's cool.
I would have liked to have seen a little more light side Ben Solo.
Same.
You
It
know,
would have been.
Honestly, like I said, I didn't feel anything. I mean, I didn't care that it wasn't a. Was it good that they didn't make it a Force Ghost Han Solo? Yeah, that was okay. But other than that, I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I just had checked out at that point or what. But
You probably had.
Mhm.
Hey, I did.
I honestly, the thing for me was the only thought that went through my head was how much was his check.
oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah, there you
the
go.
one thought in my.
Here's my thing. Well,
Okay.
I was while I was watching the movie, there was what did Lando say to the rest of the galaxy to get
That's a good
basically
question.
everyone in the galaxy
Well, he
to come
offered-
out?
Here, I got the answer to that, Dan. It's very easy. He offered everybody a Colt 45.
There you go. I feel there.
Drunk, thank you for gracing my channel with my stream with your presence, sir. You just made my
Yep.
day.
Yeah,
Good. Always good to
big-
have a legend in here, man.
big
Yeah.
shout out to Drunk 3PO because Jay, he does promote smaller creators. He does he does have a spotlight for small creators that he does, and I think it's really awesome what
It
Drunk
is.
3PO does for the community. He
Indeed.
also supports us at Bounding Into Comics. So Jay, much love, man. Thank you so much, brother. And
Respect and honor, sir.
definitely.
Respect and honor.
Indeed. And thing is, but seriously though, not all joking aside, what the hell could he have said to get basically 1 million friggin' ships plus the Ghost? Who's piloting the Ghost? I mean, that Twilight must be like freaking almost.
been Syndulla.
Did he offer?
Yeah, but it could have been her son too. But that also
what?
makes no sense.
You know what, Orange Hat? I wonder if he offered, because like, where were they experimenting with that? What country that those little like pod housing that the globalist people love so much?
I have no idea.
It's funny, dude. Maybe he offered those little pod housing in Cloud City for everybody.
Maybe.
Possibility.
Or maybe
I
he was
like
just
how
like,
they actually
dudes.
showed Bespin in this movie. Though. They actually did show Bespin.
They did.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
that's nothing new.
Go in
a
there.
recycled shot. That was-
No, they had a Star Destroyer coming right out of the sky. It's like, are you going to crash into Bespin? That would be awesome.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Drunk 3PO, but I'm not helping the French.
Good evening, nerd. Good to have you, sir. Thank you for
How you
coming.
doing, everybody?
Welcome aboard.
Indeed,
Or is
Drunk,
it
I
early
agree
morning
with you, man.
for you?
Yeah, 20 past 3 in the morning at the minute.
Mm-mm.
Oh, jeez.
So what are your thoughts on the movie?
Well, where to start? I mean, like, I know you've covered a bit, but like, I asked this at Fallon earlier on when she was streaming, and I want to ask you guys, like, what did you think of the Goonies reference?
Oh, that was
Thank you for explaining that to me earlier.
that was so goofy. You know, I'm like, wait a second, you got a slide protractor in this friggin' dragger? Come on, lady. I mean, God,
Believe me, I thought that was freaking weird.
it would have been.
That whole space protractor
Yeah,
thing.
It
I
would have
didn't
been.
understand the reference when they did it. I was like,
It would have been more believable if she would have said, "Hey, look, I got this in my box of Fruity Pebbles." I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Oh man,
You
that
know,
is how
maybe
we are going to survive, like making each other laugh.
You know, I'm starting to think maybe the Goonies was meant to be a bigger part of episode 9. Maybe Palpatine was meant to go, "Hey, you guys!"
Oh my god!
Well, technically
when
he
this
did.
Oh my.
Technically,
Well,
he
here's-
did at the beginning of the movie.
Here's
Hey,
the
you
thing.
guys, I'm alive.
Somebody create a cut of when Palpatine looks up to and starts blasting the fleet. Somebody make a cut where it has him saying, "Hey, you guys!" That would just be so
Yes.
freaking awesome.
You're not wrong.
Oh my god!
Oh,
If somebody could do
man.
that.
I think
Yeah, because
That would
this
just
is
be
You
basically
should put
this
out
was
a tweet for that.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
okay. Here is one thing about this monstrosity that I absolutely hated, and me and Fallon actually talked about this morning this afternoon on our high nooner.
Hmm.
The part where they're talking about or they're doing the force healing. That is not actual force healing from like the KOTOR games or anything else.
No.
In the KOTOR games, all force healing is using the force to repair injuries and whatnot. It
And
doesn't bring
replenish,
people
yeah.
back from the freaking dead.
No, it does not.
For most of you who know, I review a show and everything. I've been doing reviews. I've actually gone anyway. I do stuff on Babylon 5, which was a sci-fi show from the 90s. Love the show. Love it to death. Love the characters. Love the lore. Love everything. There is actually in season 1, and it's brought back up in season 4. There is a device that they introduce and everything that they come across and everything that actually transfers life energy from one person to another. What does Rey say when she heals that worm snake thingy there on Pisana? It's just basic. She's like, I was just transferring a little life energy from myself to it.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Abrams ripped off Babylon 5. He ripped off J. Michael Straczynski, who was the writer, creator, director on some episodes, the whole shebang. Abrams ripped off Babylon 5 because that device is exactly what Rey and Kylo did to one another. And that really cheesed me the hell off. Because that show is a sci-fi tour de force. It's so great. It's so imaginative. It's so thought-provoking. And I'm like, is there anything else you want to rip off? You're ripping off yourself, and now you're ripping off superior writers.
I think there's something that has to be said that I'd say if all of us here were like 11 or 12, we'd have loved these Disney movies. But because we're older now, we have, common sense. I think there was a point at Disney because, let's be honest, Disney makes majority movies for kids. And I think that's why there was no anything really deep here. It was, look at the explosion. Kids will watch the explosions and, the space battles and stuff. And I think that's something that has to be taken into account. If we were all watching this as kids, we'd have probably liked this film.
But
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
But here's the thing, nerd. Even kids nowadays do not like these movies. They don't care about Star Wars. It's not so much that the franchise has aged and dated poorly. It's the simple fact that kids, their parents are introducing them to the prequels and to the original trilogy, and the kids are like, ooh, this is really cool. I like this. But if you go to the stores and whatnot, the kids aren't buying the Star Wars merchandise. They're not buying the toys. They're not buying the clothes, what little of both that they're putting out. No, there's no interest. So the kids really aren't. I don't think 7 or 8-year-old me would have sat and watched this and gone, oh, this is really cool. I like this. And
yes, but you also have to take into account that for some reason, Marvel has basically cornered the kid market at the moment.
yeah, but here is the thing. Comic books, even to this day, are still relatively popular. At least the ones that haven't gone woke. Right. And even though Marvel has gone sadly woke, you've still got DC that's still fairly popular. They still put out decent material. But I really don't. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself here.
if I had gone to see these movies when I was a kid and everything, like 7 or 8 or 9 years old or whatever, I don't honestly think I would have been all that interested, because this doesn't seem even. I was a relatively intelligent kid and everything when I was younger and everything. I was a little more mature than I should be, because I grew up and everything around a lot of older people, and that kind of made me age a little or have a little bit more maturity than maybe I should have at that time. And if I had watched these movies then, I can probably honestly say this would have left no lasting impression on me. I'm just speaking for myself though. But the other thing, and this was the other thing that really cheesed me the hell off and everything, and this goes personal and everything, like super deep personal. And it's why I kind of was holding myself back on that short video I sent out last night. For those of you who don't know, I saw the last movie I saw with my father, we saw as a family, I think, before he died of heart failure, was Return of the Jedi. And a year or so later, he died, and that was the last movie we saw all together, me, my mom, and him, and everything. And every time I watch Return of the Jedi, I see the end and everything where Anakin dies. I see Luke standing there in front of the pyre. I tear up. Now, because yes, that is a very emotional, heavy moment and everything, but because that moment resonates so personally for me and everything. And when I was sitting there last night in the theater, I kept thinking to myself, yeah, it sucks my dad's gone and everything. He's been gone since 1984. But I thought to myself, I am glad my dad is not alive to see this garbage. Because because to me it felt like J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy and all those other jackwagons over there at Lucasfilm were quite literally pissing on my father's grave. And I was like, this pisses me off to no freaking end, because you completely wrecked the original canon of the original trilogy and even the prequel trilogy, because you allowed that half-wit Ryan Johnson and everything to do whatever the hell he wanted with Last Jedi. Now, if they had done something good, if they had carried through with the storylines to Last Jedi, I would have been completely on board with this trilogy. I may not have been as enthused for it, but I would have gone out and maybe supported it a little bit more. But other than that, Byron the Observer, good evening, sir. Thank you're here. Sorry, I'm kind of on a rant at the moment. But what Johnson and Abrams have done and Kennedy have done collectively has pretty much turned myself off to this whole thing. When I walked into the theater last night, I was not excited. The only thing I was excited about was the fact I was there with my wife and 2 of our closest friends. That was the part I was excited about. We went out to dinner afterwards, and that was the fun part, because we were all sitting there and we were all ripping on the movie and everything. And then after that, we just kind of hung out for a while and whatnot. That was the fun part of the night for us and everything. The movie, I felt nothing except disgust and hate and complete and total ambivalence. I hated what I watched. It made me physically ill. I had a freaking headache through the whole dang thing, as I've already mentioned. And this movie, I hope, as I have said previously, I hope it sits on store shelves and collects dust. I hope it goes on clearance and nobody buys it. Now, am I maybe being a little hyperbolic here? Yeah, I'll be the first to freely admit it. Because more than likely, this movie probably will sell when it comes out on video, but I hope it doesn't sell as well as Disney hopes. I hope
Hopefully it gets the Captain Marvel treatment compared to the Alita treatment.
Yeah. And
Alita flew off shelves. Captain Marvel stayed there.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, you can't even find copies of The Last Jedi anywhere. And I don't know if that's just because people have bought it, or the fact that they've sold out of it and they know it won't sell anymore, so they don't bother to get any more copies in. But you see copies of. Go ahead, Orange. I need a minute. Go ahead.
There was somebody who said something in the chat. I can't remember who it was, but they said, "I'm sorry that all of us had to pay money to see it." Here's the thing.
That was actually Nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing, nerd. I did pay to see it, yet I can guarantee you one his name did not get my money. I have an agreement with my theater that if I go to see a Disney movie, I get the gift certificate treatment, which is all the money goes to them, and they will not punch a ticket for a Disney movie purchase. Or the theater house gets all the money instead of 90% of the take, or instead of only 10% of the take by Disney, and I can feel assured with my theater because the owner made that promise to me. She said, I understand your position and I'll respect it. If you want to see a Disney movie, I just do the whole gift certificate thing and we will not punch your ticket. It is because you do great stuff and I like watching your reviews. And I give that theater a lot of business. Even when I'm going there simply just to upload a video or two, I will buy from the concession stand to give them business. I will get stuff from the concession stands while I'm there to make sure that they get some business, even if it's a bad night where they don't get a lot. I mean, sadly, Star Wars isn't as popular as it is or as it used to be. Back when the last movies that were in theaters here, that was a Star Wars movie, was Clone Wars. A lot of people went to see that movie.
I did. I thought it was okay.
The Force Awakens was a lot of people came to see that movie, even up here in Tupper Lake. I wasn't here at the time because I was living down in Syracuse at the time. But a lot of people said they didn't, or a lot of people came to see The Last Jedi, but nobody came like the next 3 days. People did not come, and we had to hold that movie for a whole month. My theater only has 2 screens, so to have to hold a movie for a full month because it's contractual obligation is ridiculous. Now they have the movie Rise of Skywalker here is 3D right now, so after a week they'll put it in the upstairs to let a new movie take over. But for a ticket price, for a regular ticket price in my hometown here, it's $7. For 3D, it's $9. If matinee, it's $1 cheaper. And for anybody who is a young child or a very young child, like under 6 years old or a senior citizen, it's $1 cheaper than a normal ticket. And the concessions are very well priced too. I mean, a movie ticket or a normal movie ticket, and if you want to get a tub of popcorn with free refills, that's $7 as well. I mean, you get great prices in small town theaters, and I encourage people to support small town theaters more because they truly care for people. I mean, only during Monday and Wednesdays does my theater rarely get any business, because the person that works there on Monday and Wednesdays is not really well liked because he's kind of a douchebag. And I also get posters from the theater or from the movie theater because normally they just disregard them or whatever. I actually, speaking of which, drunk being in here, next month I'm sending him 2 Rambo posters that are official movie size posters. I sent Moira Kitty an It Chapter 2 and a Godzilla poster. I sent a friend of mine who liked who is a fan of Terminator Dark Fate. I sent her 2 Terminator posters. I sent Lethal Lightning the Wonder Woman poster, and I sent Odin's movie blog 2 Joker posters, both of the official movie-sized posters. I mean, if I get posters, I'll send them to people if they have any requests and if I'm able to get them.
That's pretty awesome.
Well, and the one upside is when I was waiting for the movie to end, because we went to an AMC. That's one of the theaters that's in the town where I grew up and everything. And one of the upsides was I got photos of all the posters, and the Wonder Woman poster. They had the Wonder Woman, they had Ghostbusters, they had Top Gun Maverick, and everything. And I got shots of all those. I'm like, hey, these are actually movies I'm excited for.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I'm
no
excited.
kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
Maverick, Godzilla vs.
I'll be
Kong,
right
and a couple of Ghostbusters are my top 3 that I'm looking forward to for next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Danny Godzilla versus Kong is delayed.
Yeah, I know. Sadly, it was
Yeah.
pushed back, but I'm still excited for it.
Oh, I'm
because
looking
those
forward
are
to it
the-
too, dude. For sure.
I'm a huge Godzilla fan.
So
I
am
could geek out on that all day.
So am I.
I didn't see Godzilla King of the Monsters. I heard it was good, or it was down the middle.
You know, Ambassador, I'll tell you what, the new Godzilla verse is pretty awesome. I like it. I like the whole shared universe.
That's not a bad idea. Honestly, I was on board for doing a Kong and Godzilla shared universe and everything, because they tease that at the end of Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
Okay,
they
I
did.
thought they did.
Yes, they did, because they were setting up for King of the Monsters. They had Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the trailers. And I've heard that Godzilla King of the Monsters wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. So I'll
The
eventually.
only thing I didn't like was they cut to the humans a little too much.
Yeah. They did.
Adega.
I need more monsters, less humans.
Yes.
You know, I was just thinking there, what will make a good party video would be that when Palpatine, raises his hand, you see Godzilla coming up through the ice.
Yeah, and then Godzilla fries him with the atomic breath. That would be even better.
Oh yeah.
There you go. We could do that. Dude, we could do that.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You have a landscape shot of Palpatine and Godzilla.
Godzilla be like,
Palpatine goes, I am the Sith, and Godzilla looks at him and goes,
yep, pretty much.
it disintegrates him. He's like, I am king of the monsters, you turkey.
Yeah, I mean,
Gobble.
seriously, it's like the lightning would just be like fuel to Godzilla. He'd be like, "Oh, what is this?"
Yeah,
lightning?
because
Okay.
he's basically a giant energy collector, essentially. Godzilla's essentially a giant energy collector.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the? There was a video, or somebody did a cut with Thanos versus Godzilla, where Godzilla's marching in, and Thanos is like, "I'm dead." But yeah,
No, I haven't.
it's like, oh my gosh, you got look up Thanos versus Godzilla.
Oh man,
You should be able to find it from that.
this.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Because it's just perfectly done.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
There was
really like
one
King of the
anything that
Monsters.
there was one that Screw Attack did with what's their names? Death Battle.
Godzilla and Gamera.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that video. The one I love even more than that was when they did Voltron versus the Power Rangers, and Voltron completely wiped the floor with them. I'm like, yes!
Nice. There you go.
Which Power Rangers, though? Which ones? The original?
The original
The
Megazord.
originals.
Or the
The
new
original Megazord.
Okay.
Yeah, and Voltron completely wiped the floor with them. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, but was it Lion Voltron or Vehicle Voltron?
Lion.
It was
We do not speak-
big Voltron.
We do not speak of the vehicle Voltron, but although I will say Robot Chicken did did one really good short and everything with the vehicle Voltron and everything, if y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where the Roe Beast is attacking the station, and they're like, something's not right here. Let's go back a few steps. And they're
Screw
like,
Attack actually changed their name to Death Battle now. It's or the channel's called Death Battle.
is it? Okay. I wasn't sure. It's been a little while since I've watched anything from them, but I periodically pop in on them.
My favorite video is still Deathstroke versus Deadpool.
Oh,
Wait.
Deadpool versus Deathstroke.
I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm
just trying
flashing
to-
back to the cartoons and comics that were made because they're basically the same character.
I'm just.
Yeah, essentially.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around. There's seriously a live action Robotech coming.
No, there's just the animated, but no. Adega was talking about next year. I'm guessing they're going to be doing something along the lines of Robotech, but I do know that they're doing It's going to be a new adaptation of Dune by
Yeah.
Frank Herbert.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I know
I
the
did hear about
Dune's
that.
going to be live action. I was just talking about Robotech though, because like
I have not heard a whole lot about that, to be honest with you, Drew. I'll have to look that up.
because yeah, I mean,
But here's the, I absolutely when I was in my teens and 20s, I absolutely loved Robotech and everything, and I would go to, I think it was like Blockbuster or whatever, and they had the VHSs of the imports and everything from Japan. I'm like, I love this.
yeah,
This is so awesome.
but see,
It was
like, there's a lot of people, Ambassador, like
Mhm.
that don't like the Harmony Gold versions, and they like the Japanese versions. I mean, I'm cool. I'm one of the people that's cool with both. I didn't mind the Harmony Gold shows. I liked the Cross Saga. I liked the
yeah.
I liked
Next Generation,
I liked New Generation.
New Generation, yeah.
Yeah, I liked the one in the middle, which was oh God, was it the Defenders, or I think it might have been Defenders.
Something like that,
It was
yeah.
the one that had Max Sterling's kid. It was the one that had Dana Sterling.
That might have been the New Generation,
No,
maybe.
it
I'm
was,
not entirely sure.
It was Masters. It was Masters.
It might have been
Masters was in the middle.
I'm not super familiar. I mainly know Macross, and that's it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just. Dang,
Actually,
we all had awesome childhoods.
Oh, we did, man.
I just want to take it back to episode 9 for a bit.
Sure.
Now,
Yeah,
when I saw this bit in episode 9, I thought it was some sort of piss take of June. But since you guys are all into the EU of Star Wars, what's the whole deal with spice in the Star Wars?
That's drugs.
What, spice?
Yeah, it's just drugs.
Yeah, it's drugs. It's
Yeah.
the
So
Durgas,
it is actually in
It was a
the
drug.
EU as drugs, because when they said you're a spice smuggler, I immediately went to June. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a
Spice
drug
is-
smuggler.
But this is
Spice is like their form of Coke, I guess.
yeah, I think it is, honestly.
Yeah.
It's highly it's
So
Totally
who
addictive.
ripped off who? Did June rip off Star Wars, or did Star Wars rip off June when it comes to space?
well,
Technically-
here's I
Technically,
don't
we do.
think this is necessarily a rip off, because all they're doing is using a word and everything. They don't go into a whole lot of detail in Star Wars exactly as what just spice is, because I think spice is just basically a narcotic of some sort, whereas in
Yes.
You
Dune,
know what? I'm gonna look
It's-
it up. Let's see what
It's
if there is
it
something.
is it's a narcotic that causes you to basically veg out for a little bit.
yeah, and that's pretty much it. It isn't like what it is in Dune and everything, because spice is very much central to the whole story and everything of the Dune saga and everything.
Hey guys,
I've
I mean, I know of 3 different drugs in Star Wars. There's spice, glitter stem,
Mhm.
and death sticks.
hey, no,
I do remember the death stick.
that's the
Yeah. Do you want to buy some death sticks? You don't want me to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life.
Hey,
Yeah, and he fathered a girl named Mantis.
hey, do you guys want to come over and have a spice party?
Dude, will there be Spice Girls?
Hell yeah, man.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Because I would love to meet Posh Spice.
No, you
She's
really
spoken
wouldn't,
for, dude.
lad. Seriously, she is one stuck-up cow.
Speaking from experience there, nerd?
No, that's to say, since I am like from over on the island here, like you do read a lot more interviewers back in the day in the 90s when they were big, like but unless you're like a millionaire, she wouldn't even spit on you. She's that sort of person. She's not a nice person. If you want to
She's
go
like
for
that.
anybody who is nice, Sporty Spice or Baby Spice were the nicest people.
Oh,
Why does that not surprise me?
no,
Yeah.
you know what? Honestly, we have the nicest woman though. We have a real woman on the panel. So
Yes. We have real women in the fandom myth.
Yeah.
We don't have a bunch of
hang on,
fake-
guys. Are you taking for granted what her sex is? Because she could be a lemon tree. You don't know.
No, nerd, because in the fandom menace, everybody is the gender that they were born.
yeah,
We
exactly.
accept what the doctor said as fact, and we move on with our lives because we have better things to do than trying to figure out what gender we
That's
are.
not 100% correct.
You wait. There was
When Jesse Milestone,
Do you-
when Jesse Milestone goes to the airport, she identifies as male so she doesn't continue to get misgendered.
oh, that's bull.
No,
It's
she does.
funny, but-
She literally gets misgendered at the airport a lot, and she basically says,
okay.
"You know what? Fuck it. For now, in California, it's legal to do this. When I'm in an airport, I identify as male." And it's like, and I told her, and I
wish-
keep on telling her, it's like,
I
I
honestly
can't
wish
look at
you
you
would-
and see anything other than a female. And
You know, there
eventually,
are
she
two
started
people-
following me on Twitter.
yeah.
There are two people I wish would legitimately move out of California. One is her, and the other one is Gary from
Yeah.
Neurotic.
Yeah, I know.
Poor Gary.
Because
I mean,
honestly, they're
I
good
wish-
people.
I wish all of them would. I wish all the ones that were there, Anna,
yeah,
Jeffy,
and
and Gary, and anyone else that lives there, get the fuck out of California. That place
yeah,
is.
just
I'm sorry. I don't want
it's turned
anybody.
into hell.
I don't want anybody living there to walk out their door and eventually step on shit.
Yeah, leave the poop infested streets. Come
Well,
north.
maybe
Get-
next time whoever started the fires, could do a better job. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Okay,
You
this
should have
this
seen. Yeah. Let's get back to episode 9. We're getting way off on tangents here.
Yes,
We are.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think we're doing it so that we can, so that our much like
Yeah, so we
Doomcock,
can
our
have a little
brains won't
levity,
explode inside our heads.
It's,
We
Okay.
have to have humor to tinge our hate. We
It's
have
a
to-
Let's get
coping
controversial
mechanism.
then. Let's get controversial. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually like the saber fight on the Death Star. I like
that
I
one.
did too.
That one.
I did
was
too
fun.
because that was two Darksiders fighting.
The sword play for that fight was a little better. But see, here's the problem, nerd, and this is one of the faults with the movie, because it was like sloppily edited. It was like it's 1,000-mile-an-hour pacing. Like, we didn't get enough of the saber fights. When they had something good, you didn't get enough of it. It was
Mhm.
yeah,
that's what it was so. That's one of the things that was so maddening for me, because the few things that popped onto the screen that I liked, it was like, God, friggin' like 2 minutes gone. I was like, come on, give me
I mean,
something.
Yeah, but here's the thing: that dark side Ray with the Bilbo teeth. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like what, 8 seconds of Dark Ray. It should have been a monologue between
Oh, God.
Dark Ray and normal Ray. They could
Yeah.
have
Yeah, that,
you didn't need to make that a duel. I would have preferred it be some sort of verbal dialogue or debate between the two of them, because
Here's
that
the
honestly
thing.
would to me would have been actually somewhat more entertaining.
Yeah,
I actually liked that little duel there because the way that she used her flipping lightsaber thing, she used the both blades to catch Ray's blade, and that
that
in
was
a way
dope.
that
was
that
dope.
was badass. That was badass. It's like this Ray is, or her darker self is very skilled and would know how to handle a lightsaber staff.
I would have, had I had a shot at actually writing this film, I would have early on turned Ray dark side from the get-go, and the mission should have been to try and turn her back, because I think she would have been outstanding.
Well, the thing is, she kind of did turn dark side for a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm saying, dude, she would have been outstanding that way. And Daisy Ridley would have nailed it. I think so.
Mhm.
As a Sith Ray.
She was completely, or she had gone fully dark when she was fighting Ben on that Death Star. She was striking out with hate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean,
honestly,
look at how she handled Finn when Finn's like, Ray! And she's like, fuck off with the force push.
yeah, pretty much.
She's like, fuck off, I'm trying to kill this bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'm trying
we
to
have
kill this
admit-
guy who.
No, go ahead, sir.
Okay, thanks, nerd. Honestly, it just looked like two people were batting sticks at one another. I mean, I've seen better lightsaber duels and fights and everything in fan-made films like the Mall Apprentice fan film that
Oh,
they
yeah.
did a couple years ago.
That was
That-
a good
That
one.
honestly,
was very well done.
that looked more realistic and believable in terms of lightsaber combat compared to anything we've seen in the Disney trilogy.
I've
Yeah.
got one
The
comment
lightsaber-
for that. Okay, with the prequels, and like with the Obi-Wan and Vader fight scene,
Yeah,
but they were trained to fight with lightsabers. They weren't like with Rey. She doesn't really know what she's doing with a lightsaber.
Exactly.
no,
Tested
So-
by a
and
girl
the
who had
problem
never
is when
held a
you don't
lightsaber.
have. But here's the problem: when you don't have two combatants that are on the same skill level or relatively close to one another, the one that's been trained is going to have such an easier time and everything deflecting what the untrained person has, because I can bet you money Leia wasn't teaching Rey how to use a lightsaber in any meaningful way because she barely had any lightsaber training herself. Now you get the flashback and everything between Luke and Rey when they're younger and everything, and I guess they're on
Leia. Endor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
they're on Endor or whatever, and you see her get the upper hand on Luke, and that's actually somewhat believable because you can believe that okay, they've been training for a while and everything, and this is one of the last sparring duels that they'll have with one another, and Leia has gotten reasonably developed.
Mhm.
But you think about it, Leia is old now and everything. She's probably around Obi-Wan's age, and she doesn't have it in her to do all the lightsaber training and everything that Rey would really need and everything. You would need maybe Luke and everything when he's there on Op 2 and everything in The Last Jedi to train her properly because he could still move around. He wasn't old and decrepit and everything. He had just cut himself off from the Force.
Right.
But the problem is with that whole duel and everything, and honestly, all three duels and everything in the Disney trilogy, they're not believable. I mean, you believe Kylo Ren or Ben Solo is a very well and highly trained because he's been at Luke's academy and he's trained under Snoke and everything. So he's got both light side training and dark side training, which there is a difference.
Yes.
And everything. There is a difference, truth be told, and everything in how Sith train with the saber and how Jedi train with the saber.
Yeah.
And everything,
yeah.
because there are various forms of lightsaber combat that different Jedi will adopt and everything.
Style.
Different
They
styles.
will.
Or forms.
But
yeah.
form, style, whichever term you want to use. But here's the thing. Honestly, all Ben is doing is batting away her parries and her strikes and everything. And he's parrying away her strikes, and that's pretty much it. So you don't get to see Ben at in his full element. The only time you get to see him relatively close to his full element when he goes up against the Knights of Ren there at the end of Rise of Skywalker, and that's not even that long. And this is not one lightsaber duelist against another. This is a lightsaber duelist against a bunch of melee duelists, and he completely wipes the floor with them. And like that duel had no weight to it. I mean, up until the moment he got Luke's or
The lightsaber through the dyad magic.
Oh, that mess.
I'm not even going to call it the Force because at that point it wasn't the Force. It was that stupid dyad magic bullshit.
Here's the thing. I just today watched Shad University's breakdown of Rise of Skywalker. Shadiversity, and he completely reamed this movie one side and up down the other. And he was talking about the lightsaber combat, and he's like, this was shoddily choreographed and everything.
I know, they should have got Nick Gillard to do it again.
Yeah, because that guy, he did a great job on the prequels.
Yeah.
Because he came, and not only that, he actually had a short cameo as Sindralik and everything, who was the lightsaber
he was
combat,
an instructor.
Yeah, instructor there in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant.
Yep.
But these lightsaber fights in the Disney trilogy, and even in Rise of Skywalker, I had no vested interest in everything, and most everybody and everything, at least in our row,
And I'll tell you just from last night and everything, when we went to see, this was Saturday night and everything, and the town we live in and everything is small, and the town I grew up in is not a small town. It's probably got at least 100,000 people or so in it. Maybe not that much, but it's a large city. And Saturday night in this town, one of the things you do is you go to the movies. Okay. Hey, Dega, thank you for joining. Glad you were here.
Mhm.
We'll talk to you later, bud. Have a good night.
Take it easy, bub.
Right.
Yeah.
Take care, Digga.
Peace, brother. But the theater we were in, rows A through D were empty. The back of the theater was full. But here's the thing: this, like I mentioned earlier, this was an AMC theater and everything. It wasn't even busy. And at this point, elementary and high schools are out, colleges are out, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The theater was not even busy. I remember when we went to see Force Awakens, we went to the same theater and it was packed. It was busy. It was even busy and everything when we went to see Last Jedi. But last night, on Saturday night, everything, it wasn't even remotely busy.
One
So
of my biggest problems with all three is that Finn never got an arc. You
Nope.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, like John Boyega, I've been a fan of his since Attack the Block. I think. Does anybody know that it's a horror film that was made in the UK?
what is it
Was that
called?
the Space Monkeys?
Attack the Block.
Attack.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've actually
Yeah,
heard
that
of it,
was
but
the
I've
one
never
with
seen it.
that was the one with those space gorilla thingies.
Yeah, and when you first see Finn, okay, I thought it was a bit weak because he was meant to be. I thought in the first one he was meant to be this, lifetime trooper, but then at the end you find out he was a janitor and just became a trooper. So they screwed up that part of his backstory. They should have made him a trooper for life. That way, him turning away from the killing would have had him a lot more emotional impact. But then for the other two movies, his only job is to run around after Ray going, Ray!
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
his
there was
only-
that too.
that was his only real arc. I mean, they tried to, for some bloody reason, don't ask me why, Rand Johnson decided, we'll have Tico and him get together. And that didn't make no sense. Because like at the start of the Last Jedi, she basically kidnaps him and forces him into the rebellion.
Mhm.
And then
Well,
in the
yeah,
third
he was
one,
going to desert. Yeah.
yeah, and then in episode 9, it's just like, okay, we need you in this scene, and yeah, just stand around. Yeah, that'll do. And then he goes to the Death Star and runs up after Rey, and nothing. He might as well have stood on the bank and shot it up your fit, girl. I'm just saying he was completely
Wasted.
there was nothing done with him, and that's one of the big things about all these Disney movies is the what they could have had, the missed opportunities. I mean, you could have done so much with Finn, you could have done so much with Poe, but they didn't do anything.
Nope.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's
Go ahead, Orange. Go ahead, Dan.
go ahead.
Well, what I was
There
going to
was
say
others.
is no. Go ahead, Orange, and then I'll go.
No,
Or
go
somebody
ahead.
else
You
can.
just started. You just started.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, bud. The one semi-interesting thing I took out of this was the idea that there had been other First Order troopers that had defected or had left, and you had that bunch that were there on that one moon of Endor. I don't remember which one they say it is or anything. I don't know if it's the main moon or if it's just another adjacent moon
or Cachador or something like that. Yeah.
Whatever. And you had this idea presented that others had defected and left the First Order, and you're like, okay, this is actually semi-interesting. But then all they're there for is to give them the skiff and everything and tell them, oh yeah, the wreckage is over that way. And then they have that one moment at the end and everything during the battle and everything where they're riding on the space horses along the hull of the Star Destroyer. And that's it. It's completely and utterly wasted. This trilogy has been nothing but a series of missed opportunities and just complete and utter bungling from one end to the other. I mean, Abrams set up some interesting ideas. I will not take that away from the guy in terms of Force Awakens. Right. But considering everything that's done in the 2 subsequent movies, it renders everything that he did set up completely pointless and moot.
Yep.
Well, you're not wrong.
Well, I think to go on to your point there, I think if in The Force Awakens, after Finn had, left with Poe, if there had been a line of dialogue saying another one has left, something to build up that there is a problem with the programming, that the stormtroopers are defecting, in the first movie, that would have been nice, because then we would have had that in our minds going into the third movie, and this is where they ended up,
Right. I would also like to point out it because it does give some interesting ideas and concept, and I had wondered if they had been taking children that were Force sensitive, because the troopers that had defected had said they felt something, and it's alluded it's the Force that really stopped them from saying, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. Like it was the Force speaking to them.
That was one thing that was I kind of slightly cringed at. I mean, it was kind of odd that they never really touched on Finn being Force sensitive in the first or second movie. I mean, yes, he was able to swing that lightsaber pretty well, but still anybody can swing a lightsaber pretty well. Now, the thing is, if he was Force sensitive, the devotion he had towards Rey he would have felt her suffering in Episode 8 when she was screaming out when Snoke was mind torturing her or was mind reading her, and she was resisting. He would have felt a bunch of other things, but then it comes down in the third one where he's Force sensitive. I'm like, don't tell me it's that whole belief thing that Rian Johnson tried pulling, where all you have to do is believe in the Force and you can wield it. That doesn't work like that. That's not how the Force works. You have to be born with an affinity to the Force. Yes, believe it or not, they actually, in the EU Legends, Tarkin was Force sensitive. He could not wield it. Yeah, he could not wield it, but he could feel it. Yeah. And whatnot. And I'm like, okay. When you guys told me about that, I'm like, okay, fine. And I actually looked it up, and it's like, okay, some of that makes sense. But this making him Force sensitive in this one, everybody's like, finally, but it's like, to me, it's too little too late. You missed your opportunities there. Him being Force sensitive is all well and good, but it doesn't have the impact that it would have had in the first or second movie.
Right.
And another thing that I don't think anybody really noticed, if you look at the head of Vader or the helmet of Vader, you will notice a skull is in it. If there is a skull in it, how did Anakin become one with the Force? His body needs to fade in order for him to become one with the Force.
Okay, I have a thought about that. That it's not actually his skull, because it's revealed that because we thought that Anakin was speaking, Vader was speaking to Kylo, but it turned out not to be. It could have been just been a statue or something of that nature. Because you're right, what was left over would have disappeared.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
but there was an eye socket in that helmet that actually was a skull. And I'm like, how does that work? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, seriously. Also, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, see, here's the problem. You're thinking, don't. Disney doesn't want you to think. You're meant to watch and buy.
Yeah. Also, that dyad thing. I think that Adam Driver actually did a Nihilus, that is, because when he reaches back and grabs the lightsaber and pulls it out, and everybody's looking at him, and the way that he does that like little shrug and shit, it's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Just go with it. I mean, if you ask me, that's what that shrug meant. It's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Just fucking go with it and attack me already.
Yeah. Honestly, Orange, I'm not sure. I'll have to wait until some clips come out on YouTube, because I'm not going to go see this thing again and see if that is actually a skull, because I don't recall seeing a skull.
Yeah.
All I recall seeing is the inside of the helmet and everything, and that was it. Now, the obviously it had taken further damage and everything from when Starkiller Base had blown up or whatever. But that's the crazy thing too. You never actually see if somebody grabs Vader's helmet or anything, because Ren doesn't take it with him and everything before he leaves and everything, before the station goes critical and blows up. So the question is, how in the hell did it survive Starkiller? How did that?
Stop thinking.
No, I am incapable of not thinking, nerd. I have to think. If I don't think, I die, and I'm not going to die. I'm not going to let Disney kill me.
Wait, see, here's the thing. It's the same thing you have with how did Butt-Eye Face, find Luke's lightsaber? When it fell down out of Sky City.
That's actually a good one.
When it fell down the big shaft and into probably the planet below at the end of Empire Strikes Back. How did she get it?
There was theories for it where she was actually in all of the original
movies.
Trilogy. She was in the background. In the first one, she was a Jawa. In the second one, she was in the Ugnaught area. And the third one, she was a fucking Ewok. It's like that's a stretch. You fucking know
she was working on. She was a crew member on one of the Rebel
Ambassador,
Alliance.
I just sent you the picture of the Vader skull that they used.
Okay.
It's a screenshot from Force Awakens. So.
Oh, did you send it to Twitter?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Also, there was one scene that actually was truly touching that I'm glad they did, because JJ actually acknowledged after The Force Awakens was released, when Han died, that Chewie didn't go to Leia.
Yeah.
He just walked right by her. Did you notice how Chewie reacted to Leia's death?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
Absolutely.
lost it.
He did.
Broken. And I'm like,
because that was his last
fucking finally. Yep. It's like, fucking finally, they actually did something, or they got it right. The dynamic of Chewie with Leia and Han, because this is established in EU lore. A life debt doesn't just extend to the person who saves you, it extends to their family. And when a person actually challenged me on that with episode 7, when Ben stabs Han, he's like, well, why he wouldn't have shot at Ben if it extends to. Do you not? Or first off, you're right in a way. That would not usually happen, but you also have to realize this: Wookiees are feeling, or Wookiees have feelings. And the person that was his best friend for 50 years or more had just been murdered in front of him. He was going to kill he wanted to kill everyone in that place. And he went off. That was one of my.
He went into a rage. He went into
Force
Wookiee
Awakens.
rage.
You see,
He
the
just
Force
started
Awakens,
blasting.
I understand
Okay.
why Chewie just walked past her. I mean, think about it. He's been with Han for like 20 years, and then that bitch Leia came along and stole him from him. You know, it's quite understandable why he walked past.
It could have been that he was still emotionally numb, but I don't think. But even J.J. Abrams realized that it was a mistake to do that.
Phelan, I'm looking at the picture you sent. I don't think that that's an eye socket because it's not big enough. I think actually that might be just a hole in the whatever was left of the lens or anything there on the right side of Vader's helmet.
It's in episode 9. I mean,
okay.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but they actually do have a really up close shot to it, and I swear there is skeletal structure inside that mask.
But here's the thing, Orange. The way that helmet was designed, it had a superstructure inside of it to kind of support Anakin's head and everything, because the helmet was actually somewhat bigger than his head.
Oh, yeah.
So that could be some sort of mechanical framework inside of it that could have been deformed and melted and everything over X number of years.
It is entirely possible, yes.
Yeah, that's
because
exactly
I honestly don't think that.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see later on.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm not going back to watching in theaters.
Neither am I.
Not for that one little thing. No way.
Somebody, believe it or not, I have a friend who's going to give me a digital code when this movie comes out on digital, and it's like, just give me a fucking digital code, and so I don't have to buy this motherfucking thing. He's like, all right, I'll do it. I'll give you mine because I don't use them. And I'm like, fucking thank you. But
go ahead.
I thankfully didn't have to watch Force or Last Jedi in theaters because I was incarcerated at the time. But I heard that a lot of people didn't like it while I was in jail. I'm like, why the hell wouldn't people like a Star Wars movie? And then I get out and I put my digital code in. Then I get out and I put my digital code in to see Force or Last Jedi, and I'm like, that's why people didn't like a Star Wars movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was just
Because I was hearing, or what friends told me when they wrote me a letter while I was in there. They're like, man, if you are hearing the hatred for, or if you were out here, you'd be seeing a lot of hatred for Star Wars right now. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, imagine
what's happened to the world.
Somebody being cut off from like all that shit, and it's like, it's when I heard my friends say that people were hating on Star Wars. I'm like, why would people hate on Star Wars? What did they do? But yeah, then I saw it and I'm like, oh shit, this explains it all. Oh god damn, what did they do?
They assaulted it worse than what the Empire did to the Rebellion in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh hell yeah. I mean,
and then this was just, as I've said, this was just the cherry on the crap sundae with Rise of Skywalker. Because, okay, I'm gonna say this, even though I didn't watch the ending, I know about it through leaks and through footage and everything that somebody had done and released on YouTube. When I saw the scene there at the very end when she's there on Tatooine on the Lars homestead, and that rando comes up and says, "What's your name? Haven't seen anybody around here in a long time." And she says, "Rey." And then you see the Force ghosts of Luke and Leia. And I'm thinking, oh, she doesn't.
Oh, you mean Dave and Mary?
And then she says, Rey Skywalker. And I'm like, no!
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if in the draft before the one we got, for whatever cut this is, that she married Ben. But
Oh,
then she'd
that
be a
would-
solo. So
that would have just been lovely. Oh
No, well, here's the thing, right? I think this is the whole movie. It was about Rey finding out who she was and being true to herself. So
Mhm.
she should have said Palpatine at the end if she had
Exactly.
accepted who she is. You know, so the whole trilogy is accept who you are, but unless you get a better name. You know, it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
It takes
That
away
would-
from her.
That would be great. That would your theory would have been great, Fallon. She could be like, "I'm Rey Palpatine Solo Skywalker."
Here's the thing. People are saying, well, she adopted the Skywalker name. I'm like, that's not what adoption is, because I'm actually adopted myself. And when you're adopted into a family, those people,
Yeah.
they give you their name.
I know
Unless
that,
you decide-
that would have just been the best line ever.
So
dude.
this whole thing, oh, she adopted the Skywalker name because she had such a close tie to Luke and Leia. I'm like hell she did.
But dude, that
She didn't have a
but
didn't have a close tie to no one in this trilogy. She had a close tie to her sphincter, maybe, but that's all she had a tie
but
to.
Ambassador, that would have been still the funniest line in dialogue. That would have
Yeah,
been
that
great.
would have
Oh,
been.
shit,
I'm not
yeah.
going-
I'm
I'm not
Rey.
going to say.
Rey Palpatine Solo Skywalker.
And the person would
I'm sorry,
have
that would have fucking worked.
I
Don't
I,
forget
that would have been funny.
I,
It would have
It
been
would
funny
be-
more than.
It would be Rey
I mean,
hyphen Solo Skywalker. You know,
No, it would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been Rey hyphen Palpatine hyphen Skywalker hyphen Solo, because she gets comments on the hyphen. And if anybody knows that reference or anything, you get a gold star and a cookie
yeah.
because she gets compliments on the hyphens.
Oh man! Oh jeez, that would have been great.
But yeah, when she dropped that line in the theater, you know how I told you guys about the whole telling the person to shut the fuck up when they looked at me and said shush when the whole kiss thing happened.
Yeah.
When she said Rey Skywalker, I'm like, oh fuck. Oh,
So basically, this was the final
that
picture.
in the middle of a load.
Technically, if
and-
you want to think about it, the Palpatines won.
They did.
They
Yeah, they
did.
did.
They
It's the
won.
Palpatine
They
saga.
freaking won because she
They finished off the Skywalker line.
Yeah, they did. They really did.
The Jedi.
That was it.
They killed
won.
the Sith.
Yep. They won.
Mhm.
The fucking
They
Palpatines won.
killed-
Fuck
Oh my
Way
goodness!
to-
Chosen one
way
family.
to go, JJ.
Steven.
You made the villain into the hero. Quite literally, you fulfilled Harvey Dent's quote from The Dark Knight. Either
Well-
you die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Well, guess
Yup.
what?
You fucking just did, man.
Oh man!
actually,
No.
I have a
I'm
question.
gonna make a video on that
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Really
Hail to
quick.
you.
Been
Yeah.
Walton.
Hail
Really
to
quick.
you, Stephen.
Really
Hey,
quick.
Steven, good to
Yeah.
see you, man.
Stephen, I actually sent you a link if you want to join and everything. If you don't, you're lurking. That's cool. Whatever. I wouldn't mind having your 2 cents on this,
I
Matt,
hope-
even though I know you've given it.
I hope Steven comes in because I'd really like him to expand more on his theory, or not his theory, but the thing that he got from his source about, the original the original way that the movie was written. I'd like him to come in and actually expand upon.
Well,
that.
I sent him a link to the stream, so it's
Have
entirely
y'all
up to him.
watched Ryan's video?
Ryan RK Outpost.
I think so. He put out because he was reading
I
out
haven't
about
yet.
what the movie was supposed to be about before they got a hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question. Since, again, you guys are more into the EU than I am, who were the 10,000 hooded people in the background?
Oh, those are
Well,
Sith acolytes.
They were
Zealots,
they were stand-ins.
zealots.
They were secret Snokes.
Yeah, they were snow
Yes,
clones.
they were secret
snow
Snokes.
clones.
they
Secret
might have
Snoke.
been.
Yep.
they were just there for applause. They were like they were like
No,
yes,
better,
Clone Daddy.
better. No, they're all clones of Jar Jar.
Yeah.
No, they were probably Disney executives.
Nice job.
Yeah,
Well,
there you go.
yeah.
Holy shit, there you
That's
go.
probably what it looked like in real
man.
life.
Oh my god.
No, but it's
that's-
confusing. Were they meant to be force ghosts wearing robes? I didn't know who they people are.
Yeah, nerd. I'm going to quote you. Don't think.
Yeah, there you
Ooh,
go.
well played.
Especially against an Irishman.
I mean, like if I was like Palpatine and I decided to have a group of people, I'd have had cheerleaders. Not these old men in robes. Get a few cheerleaders out there.
Known for his common sense.
Well, no, considering his entire life plan was kill me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What?
1 minute he's
Doesn't
telling
everybody else
Kylo,
have a
"Go
problem?
kill this girl, and you will become. I will give you the entire final order." And the next minute he's like, "No, I don't want her dead. I want her to kill me so she can become Empress of the Sith." And I'm like, Palpatine, make up your freaking mind. Do you want to be killed or don't you?
He had
Did
dementia. Cut him some
Go
slack.
ahead. Go ahead, Phil.
I said he had dementia. Cut him some slack.
Yeah,
No.
there you go.
No, did anybody ever see
No.
the piss take of Palpatine, the roommate? The party where Palpatine is a roommate of people, and one guy goes to the fridge and with no milk, and Palpatine says, "Yes, because I didn't ban any. Strike me down." Did anybody see that party?
Oh, was it on Robot Chicken?
No, I think it was College Humor or something. But another person
Oh yeah,
loses the remote and he goes, "Strike me down."
yeah. Well, actually, I know that Studio C had done a few shorts and everything when Force Awakens was going to come out, and I think they did a few when Last Jedi was going to come out, but I don't think they've done any for this. And I will say this: we have gotten some great comedic bits off of the. If nothing else, we have gotten some great comedy and some great parody from the Disney trilogy, just from Robot Chicken, from Studio C, from BuzzFeed, and all these other sites and everything. At least we're entertained in that manner. Oh, and how it should have ended. They did a great, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, but think about it. He says in this one.
Or he.
He says in this one.
Yeah, she, how it should have ended.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He said in this one, right? "This has been my plan all along to get to you." So Palpatine's plan in the prequels was get killed, and or not get killed, to get beaten up and his face disfigured. In the originals, it was get blown up and then come back to get killed. I'm just saying it doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, here's the thing. Which one of Rey's parents was Palpatine's off?
It was the son.
Yeah,
it was the son.
Rey's dad.
The son was a Palpatine. The wife was married to the son.
Well,
And did they even
whatever.
give first names?
No,
they
I don't
didn't.
think so.
Here's the thing. Palpatine never was interested in pleasures of the flesh
So
in the EU.
yeah. So we're in the bleak.
I mean, there was the thing with Yvonne Izard, who was she was a favorite, and she wasn't actually his mistress. It was rumored amongst the Empire that she was Palpatine's mistress because she was
it was rumored that Fly Moore
dark.
was his mistress.
Yeah, there was also that rumor, but it was all quashed because, well, let's face it, Palpatine didn't have a thing for aliens at all. And she was in Baron. And
yeah. So the question is, who the hell did he stoop to pump to push out a kid? And when the hell did he do it?
I've actually got another party in mind.
Unless they
I just have this image in my head of fucking Palpatine speed dating. "Hello, I run the First Order. I like to long walks on the beach on pretty girls, yes."
Now, the only other thing I can think that could be possibly feasible is artificial insemination in Star Wars. He takes some He takes some of his Sith seed and has it implanted in a woman, and the kid is produced that way.
Yeah,
And
that's
would you like?
what I thought.
Hello, would you like
I just
to rub
got.
my lightsaber?
Oh my gosh! I just got a really bad image in my head. I mean, imagine
Lord.
him at a.
Shirt
And
with the group.
Imagine
and
him
Palpatine
having-
at
Just
a
imagine him
Coruscant.
Is it
a sperm
is it
bank,
my
dude.
turn yet?
Imagine him at a sperm bank and where he actually has to give a sample, and instead of the goo, he just starts shooting freaking lightning out of his wang.
Well, no, he's just orange.
Oh Lord!
You know, he's just sitting there, and of course he's an old man, so he's upset. You know, he's going to be sitting there like, when is this line moving?
Okay, we can make this worse, and I'm about to go there.
No,
Not
hang
only
on,
does
you
he
have to
have to go,
remember.
not only
you have
does
to
he have to
remember.
go to a, not only does he have to go to a sperm bank, but he has to take the Star equivalent of Viagra.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like,
long enough to give him the donation.
yeah, it's like he's like 80 years old. He goes out to date. Okay, I'm going to take my pill. We'll do it in an hour.
Excuse me, nurse. This pill only lasts so long.
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
Who's your emperor? Who's your emperor?
I'm the emperor. Damn it! Is there a manager I can complain to?
Hey, I'm Papa Palpatine. Can we get to find a different thing? I want to be a Papa. I want to be Papa Palpatine. Please, someone come and help me.
I would
Somebody
like to
cue
be.
George Takei already.
I would like to be a father before I'm 90.
Tell me, can you feel the force flowing through you?
Oh, y'all
I'll get
are
on if I
nuts.
can right now. I'm
Oh,
working right
man.
now.
Yeah, but this is how we're failing. This is how we're coping with this train wreck. This is how we're. This is how people cope with horrific situations. We laugh.
Here's the thing, folks. If you want to know what's better than the Disney trilogy, the freaking XXX porn parody could be considered better canon than this freaking crap that they did for Disney.
Hey,
Have you heard what they have said about the parody, the XXX parody of Captain Marvel? They've said it's
it was
more
better
real.
than the freaking movie.
yeah, it was higher. It was high. It was literally more well received than the movie.
Now here's the
I'm
thing.
gonna have to check that out.
It is
I will-
actually
Yeah,
really
I
good.
remember a lot of the Fandom Minutes had those pictures all over Twitter about the promo for the XXX
Yeah, I've
Marvel.
Lethal Lightning really spammed that son of a bitch.
I've seen the cover of I've seen the poster for the movie. I won't watch it because obviously, one, I'm a Christian. Two, I'm married. Well, reverse that. I'm married and I'm a Christian, so I'm very happy. So I don't need to watch that. But just the fact that a XXX parody of Captain Marvel, people consider superior to the actual movie itself. Now, can you imagine if they do, or if they have done, parodies of the Disney trilogy in that fashion? People are going to be.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if they had.
I'm not saying I've ever seen any of these, but I had seen Darth Vader and Leia and the Rey and the Sand People, but I didn't see them. I heard about them.
I've never watched any of this stuff ever.
Actually,
Well,
the
as I said,
best parties in that field are the Star Trek parties. They're really funny, especially because the
Yes,
actors and
Dan.
actresses think they can act.
You do know that every time you tell a lie, I can tell.
Of course, I was being facetious. You know this.
I mean, dude, you never watching porn? That's like saying that. That's like saying that I have never had meal.
I would hope that you've only had that once in your life.
I mean, sheesh.
All right.
Which I might have to load up on some more liquor.
So everybody, make sure you check out the shiny links in the chat. Support our panel,
yes.
and I probably here soon am gonna have to get going. I have to be up bright and early because I have stuff I have to do for
I think
bounding.
honestly, we'll wrap this up here in a few minutes. I think we've pretty much eviscerated. We have eviscerated this movie.
Yes, sufficiently. Yes.
I want people. I want fucking Luke.
I do want to share this real quick.
All right.
Because honestly, I think we all need this laugh, particularly now.
Is it Palpatine going up an escalator?
No.
There's still going to be so many good senior citizen jokes about Palpatine. Oh,
No.
Oh.
There is the cover. That is all I will show. Because
even the costume looks better.
Yeah.
Well, let's be candid here, and I'm saying this is a happily married man. It's filled out a lot better too.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they show.
Baby got back.
I've seen Ambassador. I've seen like a PG rated preview of it, and the and just like some of the stuff that they showed, some of the action scenes and things of that nature. The actress does a good job. They actually had her, because I guess she knew the comics.
Mm-hmm.
The director Axel Braun, he's big into the comics, into comics as well. So he made sure that she knew the material and understood it, and she researched it for the role, and that's why, like, if you pay attention to it, to the trailer and whatnot, other than the Deadpool cameo that they pulled in for it, everything was specific to certain things that played out in the comics. So, they made sure that it honored the source material, which is why a lot of people are calling for this guy, like, hey, Mr. Braun, please do, a trilogy takeoff on the Disney trilogy so that, we can have something that somewhat honors the fandom. And I mean, I haven't heard any word about it, but I'm almost sure that the guy will probably do something like that.
So if he gets enough feedback saying, "Bud, do this," he'll do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the guy, as far as creative director and stuff, he is absolutely, when he is doing a franchise film, no matter whether it be a comic or something, like Star Wars, Star Trek, he is very, particular about the actors knowing the source material, or he won't hire.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I think, as I've said, I think we've thoroughly eviscerated Mr. Abrams, Mrs. Kennedy, and this movie in general. So I think we're going to wrap this up.
Wait.
There
is one thing I do want to shred, or there's one thing that we didn't shred: light speed skipping.
Okay.
That is a complete abomination. That completely goes against the original trilogy, and it sucks. Okay, continue.
It's a bad idea.
It's the light speed. It's the light speed version of Tiny Tim tiptoe through the tulips.
Actually, it's the light speed version of frickin' Dragon Ball Z's instant transmission.
No. Better. It's the Star Wars equivalent of ludicrous speed, except ludicrous speed was better.
Right, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight.
Yeah, I want to thank all my guests tonight: Mr. Supreme Heretic, Drew Taylor, Phelan Reacts, Just Another Nerd, Orange Hat Reviews. If y'all want to do one more quick plug of your channels, and then I think we'll sign her off.
Fallon, you go first.
Ladies first.
All right, I am Fallon from Fallon Reacts. I do reactions, reviews, and sometimes live streams. I cover just television, movies. I do play games on my channel once or twice a week, and always have a Sunday at 12 p.m. Central Time Zone live stream, and always welcome every last one of y'all. So I hope to see y'all there.
Also, Fallon, plug your Twitter if you got one.
Oh, it's Fallon Reacts, just no space.
Okie dokie.
Nerd, you are so wrong.
Hey, I didn't make it. I just found it, but it explains why, Kylo left. I'm just saying.
Oh my god! I'll send it to y'all
Yeah,
later.
right.
But go
I
ahead.
am Orange Hat.
Who's oh, go ahead, Orange.
I'm Orange Hat Reviews. All right. I'm Orange Hat Reviews. I do movie news, show reviews, movie reviews, controversial news, and I don't bullshit or shill. I keep it real, and I do the best that I can with what I have. Also, Hans or Solo lost money for science.
Indeed.
Okay. Nerd, do you have anything? Do you have any content that you want to plug or?
I make videos and whatever tickles me fancy on any given day, but it's mostly movies and stuff like that. But I did just release a 40-minute review of episode 9 if anybody's interested in watching it.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Nice.
I'll watch it. I'll
Yep.
support you always.
Yep.
I'm gonna subscribe to your channel right now.
And me, well, I am Supreme Heretic. I write for Bounding Into Comics. Again, you can read me. I write under my real name, Drew Taylor. And we have new content on the site every day. So make sure that you check us out on boundingintocomics.com. And besides that, it's youtube.com/Supreme Heretic. And I will have probably some videos in the pipe very soon. And I will have live streaming content. I'm currently on a break from doing my normal panel on Thursdays, but we'll be coming back after the new year. And my panel will be coming back under a new name. We were formerly Battlestar Galactica Chat. We will be the Pegasus Actual Podcast when we return.
Yeah. Cool. And as always, I am the Ambassador. I cover pop culture of the 80s and 90s and beyond. And then this coming year, I will be getting more into the beyond, which will be much more into my Christian faith. But I will be tying that into pop culture. I am currently working on a series for Babylon 5 and everything. And I, too, will be taking a break and everything for a little while, for the holidays at least. And then I'll be back in January and everything with all new content for all you lovely people out there. I want to thank everybody who watched tonight. I want to thank my panel. Y'all are awesome. Y'all did a great job, as always.
Yes, we are.
Until next time, this is the Ambassador and friends signing off.
Take it easy. Catch you all on next one.
Catch you on the flip.